Lifelong learning doesn't come from setting goals. It comes from installing the right systems. And most people get this dead wrong. If you've ever tried to stay consistent with reading, skill building, or just growing in general, but keep falling off, then this video will change that for good. I'll break down the exact system that I use to keep learning every single day with no burnout, no motivation hack, and no to do list. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you will never look at education or productivity the same way again. So, what's the actual problem with setting goals? Because goals do have their value, but why does goals fail when it comes to lifelong learners? Because goals are outcome focused, they're not process driven. They require constant motivation and willpower, which gets most people stuck in a loop of chasing motivation. They're not doing things consistently. They'll be non productive all day long and then get a boost of motivation from some TikTok video and then start achieving their goals. And once achieved, the momentum dies. Just like the New Year's gym effect. Everyone in the new year says that they're going to start going to the gym. But once they actually go for a week, the dopamine dies down, and that's where consistency comes in place. That's where the process comes. But most people end up quitting. And it's called the first Friday for a reason. I believe the statistic is almost 90% of New Year's resolutions fails by the first or second Friday of the year because they're driven by this motivation, but they don't have discipline or a process to actually achieve it. They don't account for setbacks or evolving knowledge or learning new things. And that used to be me. I used to set a goal that I wanted to read 30 books in a year, but I never retained any of the information I read. I maybe would have achieved that goal, but it was because I had a quantity goal, not an actual knowledge based goal. So I would read 30 books, but it wouldn't actually matter because I didn't retain any of that information. I was trying to reach an outcome of 30 books when I actually should have set the outcome of actually retaining the knowledge. And that's what most people do. They set a goal to go to the gym or build a business, and they focus on the speed of it and not the actual livelihood of it. So when you want to become a long-term learner or a lifelong learner, it's something that you have to implement is the process and the discipline. And why do I say that systems and processes are the solutions? Because systems are designed for consistency, not intensity. It's designed to keep you consistent over a long period of time and not just one jolt of motivation that's going to make you read a book or go to the gym one time. Systems are repeatable actions that trigger learning without any friction. And it emphasizes identity and environment. Just like James Clear from Atomic Habits. If you haven't read that book, definitely read that book. But he talks a lot about identity and environment. Environment dictates what you do. But most people don't understand that there's key systems and processes in place to actually make you more consistently and be more dedicated. Goals rely on decision making. Making a decision at a moment in time to start working towards something. Systems remove the need for decisions and help you do it every single day. So, what's the actual framework? Well, I use a framework that's very similar to a lot of the top productivity people in the world, people like James Clear and Atomic Habits. But I use the one called Learn. And it's a very powerful framework that really helps you drive results. And it's something that's helped me stay way more consistent because just like anybody, we're all human. We all fall off sometimes. But if you have consistency and discipline set into your daily routine, that's where you start seeing compounded results on how it actually grows. So the step one is the L. Loop your environment. This is something that's super, super important. Design your spaces for learning. So if you want to read more consistently, we'll put a book by your nightstand. Make sure that it's front and center when you go. If you want to go to the gym every morning, make sure that your gym clothes are already laid out so it reduces the friction. And this is something that is talked about all the time, but your environment dictates your habits. So if your environment is awful, then you're probably not going to have the best habits. So E is eliminate friction. Because especially if you're just starting out, if you've never been to the gym before, if you've never built a business before, your brain is going to automatically look for friction points. And it's going to justify why you shouldn't do something because of the friction. So you have to eliminate friction. So just like I said with the environment, you're always going to look for the justification not to. So make it easier to do it than not to. So if you're building something online, make your default browser when you go to sleep your business. So every time you open up your computer, it immediately gets on there. If you want to go to the gym every day, make sure your gym clothes are laid out front and center. Make it where you're brushing your teeth in the morning, you have to see it, because then it makes it easier to actually start, and it eliminates that friction to make you justify why you shouldn't do something. And the A in learn is automate your inputs. This is something that technology has allowed us to do really, really well, but most people I see are not actually utilizing it. There's so many platforms out there like Notion or Motion.app that literally map out your entire schedule for you based on your own inputs, and they remind you and keep you consistent. I just use the reminders on my phone app, but it sends me reminders on each time block that I have. So now I'm also make the reminders where I can't remove them. I can't clear them or mark them complete. They always stay on my phone, which kind of gets annoying, but it really helps you stay consistent because now you have to do it because you will always see it. So automate your inputs. Have things remind you automatically so it's not just you and you're left to your own devices, because you probably won't do it if you are. And the R is reflecting. So many people do not reflect on what they do on a weekly basis. And if you don't spend time and actually reflect on what you've done, you'll never learn, because there's only two ways to learn: foresight or hindsight. And most people learn in hindsight. So if you don't actually look back to what you did and how the process worked, you're never going to learn how to optimize it or what you're actually retaining in that process. So I'm a big time journaler. I have journals on my desk all the time, and I sit there and I reflect every single time I do something, because it really helps me stay in tune with what I'm doing. And I don't go and read back my journals all the time, but when you write it, it sticks in your head. So you may not be a journaler, but keep a notepad on your tablet or on your phone and do something each week where you're reflecting on what you're actually putting into practice. And the last one is the N: never miss twice. This is something that James Clear talks a lot about as well, and it's borrowed from a lot of different habit science, but missing once is human. Everyone makes mistakes, everyone misses one day, but as soon as you miss twice, that's a system failure. And that means you don't have the first steps of the framework dialed in to where you're actually going to stay consistent. If you miss one day, don't beat yourself up. If you miss 2 days, fix your system. And use this as your system's reset rule. Make sure that if you do miss twice, figure out why you missed twice. Maybe it was just some fluke event where you had, a family emergency that took you away from it. And if that's the case, that's okay. But if it's something in your day-to-day process where you miss it twice, then you really have to rethink the system and put more things in place to make sure that it works. So the key message of this video is your future isn't shaped by what you intend to learn. It's shaped by what your system lets you absorb daily, because that is the key to all of this. It's what you do every single day that compounds to who you're destined to become. So if you found this framework valuable, make sure to drop a comment below. What have you done to put into practice all of your habits and your discipline? Because I am no master. I'm not here to sell you some magic bullet. This framework works really, really good for me and a lot of people that I've told it to, but it may not work for you. You may want to add another step or take away a step. So comment down below what your thoughts are and how you actually absorb it. Because at the end of the day, I am not here to sell you some course or some $25,000 mastermind. I'm simply here to share insights that have worked for me, and hopefully they work for you. So if you like this video, subscribe and drop a comment of your favorite insight, and we will see you in the next video.